In this video, we'll be taking a look at two different NHL games for Friday, February 11, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets. As we provide these videos on a daily basis, I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these NHL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like access to our exclusive betting picks, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Now let's get started. Winnipeg Jets versus Dallas Stars. A pair of teams from the Central Division take the ice in search of a victory down in the Lone Star State. The Winnipeg Jets are on the road as they travel to face the Dallas Stars Friday night. Winnipeg comes in off a 2-0 shutout win over Minnesota at home in their previous contest Tuesday night. Dallas earned a 4-3 home victory over Nashville in their most recent game on Wednesday night. In the last 10 meetings between the teams, the Stars own a 5-3 advantage, but it was Winnipeg earning a 4-3 shootout win at home in the first matchup this season, which took place on November 2nd, 2021. When Joe Pavelski is leading your team in scoring, things are about as weird as they could possibly be for this Stars team that is currently in position for a playoff spot. Dallas will play its second game out of the All-Star break on Friday when they take on the Winnipeg Jets at home. It's a big game within the Central Division for both teams. Dallas finds itself in 5th place in the division and currently sitting a few points out of a wild card spot. Winnipeg, still with some life in them, is 5 points back of Dallas but plenty of time to play catch up. The Stars have won 6 of their last 8 games and are coming off a 4-3 victory on Wednesday against the Nashville Predators at home. Second-year Phenom Jason Robertson scored 2 goals, and Roope Hintz added a goal and an assist for Dallas. Luke Glendening scored the winning goal 3:24 into the third. That level of desperation has pulled Dallas from out of the basement of the standings from earlier in the season, and has put them in contention to really make some noise in the Central Division. And a big part of that has to do with their 36-year-old leading scorer, who is coming off being the captain of the Central Division squad during the All-Star game in Las Vegas this past week. Pavelski is on pace for the best season of his long, storied career. He's always been a dominant net front presence that's never been disputed when it comes to evaluating his game. But the biggest thing when it comes to Dallas over the past few years has been its inability to get scoring in a timely manner. With Pavelski leading the way with 29 assists, they are getting scoring at the right time. Robertson is continuing his great pace from his rookie season with 43 points in 36 games. Hintz leads the way with 21 goals in 42 games and is also nearing a point-per-game pace. No other Dallas player is in the 30-point range, but surprisingly that's okay. Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn have combined for 43 points with both playing 44 games. If those two can pick things up heading into the second half of the season, Dallas will have plenty of weapons at its disposal in an attempt to help young goalie Jake Oettinger as the season progresses. And it strongly helps that the Jets have not played as well to close the first half of the season. Winnipeg comes in having lost 7 of 9 but started out of the All-Star break with a shutout victory at home against the Minnesota Wild. Connor Hellebuyck had 27 saves, and Nate Schmidt scored for Winnipeg in what was a crucial victory for the Jets. Dallas' offense has been playing very well lately, while Winnipeg's offense has struggled. The Stars have scored 3 goals or more in 8 out of the last 9 games. The Jets have scored 2 goals or less in 6 out of the last 8 games. With Winnipeg struggling on offense, they will have a difficult time against the Stars' defense. Dallas ranks 9th in shots against per game. Winnipeg will continue to struggle to score and Dallas will win this game. The Dallas Stars money line is our full game side pick. The offense has performed well for Dallas recently. They have scored 3 goals or more in 8 out of the last 9 games. Dallas and Winnipeg have both averaged 3.10 goals per game in the last 10 games between these two teams. The over has hit in 4 out of the last 6 games between the Jets and Stars. This will be a higher scoring game. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. New York Islanders versus Edmonton Oilers. Having started their current 4-game road trip with a victory in Vancouver, the New York Islanders, 6th in Metropolitan Division, will now be heading to Edmonton, where the local Oilers, 5th in Pacific, will try to recover from back-to-back defeats. What a time to be a fan of the Edmonton Oilers. 20 games into the season, it looked like Edmonton had finally figured it out. This was supposed to be the year that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl would lead a stacked team with more depth to a deep playoff run. We can now forget all of that noise because the Edmonton Oilers are once again being the Edmonton Oilers. Dave Tippett was fired on Thursday, and yet was somehow the more surprising firing of this week's shenanigans, and the Oilers now find themselves in ridiculous territory. Coming out of the All-Star break with 2 losses in dominant fashion to the Vegas Golden Knights and the Chicago Blackhawks, the Oilers now find themselves trying to right the ship in what seems like impossible waters. Edmonton replaced Tippett with Jay Woodcroft, who is well respected within the hockey circles. But being well respected within the hockey world doesn't do anything for the Oilers when they are currently 5th in the Pacific Division entering the second half of the season. It almost boggles my mind that the Oilers have the weapons on offense that they do, and yet somehow find a way to score only 1 goal in their first 2 games out of the break. Draisaitl is their leading scorer with 33 goals to go along with 31 assists. And McDavid is off to his normal stuff with 61 points right behind his teammate. But the problem for the Oilers, as it has been for however many years now, is secondary scoring. There are only 4 players on this roster that have scored double figures in goals. Zach Hyman and Jesse Puljujarvi have combined for 23 goals. Do the math. And that's the same amount that McDavid has this season. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the only other player on this team with 30 points. We can point to the lack of goaltending when it comes to the Oilers, and that is very valid, but when you have those 2 leading your team in scoring, and necessarily the league in scoring, and you cannot even come close to getting 1 more player to reach that point, that is a huge problem. The Oilers can hope that Evander Kane is that guy, with 2 goals in his first 4 games since signing with Edmonton. But if you're betting on Evander Kane to help you in that department with as much drama as he's carrying right now, you should find another avenue to explore. It hasn't been the greatest season either for the Islanders, months removed from making the Eastern Conference Final, but there is a bright spot, that being Ilya Sorokin. The goalie is having a tremendous season, going 14-8-5 record with a 2.34 goals against average and .924 save percentage. Even backup Semyon Varlamov has been great. It's just the lack of scoring that's been the issue, with the Islanders far and away not close to a playoff spot. But given how the Oilers continue to not score, this favors the goaltending. Mike Smith has been the starter for Edmonton and he's been blitzed the last 2 games. Maybe a new coach changes things, but life is not fun in oil country and I can't expect them to figure things out now against someone like Sorokin. The New York Islanders money line is our full game side pick. Not a lot of goals have been exchanged between the Oilers and the Islanders lately, with 14 of their past 21 overall meetings, and 7 of their most recent 9 encounters in Edmonton all cruising below the set snipe mark. 4 of the previous 5 domestic matchups of Edmonton have also finished on the low-scoring side, averaging no more than 4.75 tallies per bout. 10 of the last 14 overall contests of the Isles, meanwhile, have all produced just a minimal quantity of strikes, registering an average of 4.30 markers per game. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.